Today we're going to be transplanting some tomatoes. Here we go. You're going to scoop a little bit of soil on the bottom. Then you take a tiny tomato plant to the roots. Then you make sure it's nicely squatted in there. And then you take your tiny cup and get some more dirt. You want the soil to be loose, not tight. A tiny bit of water. That's how you transplant a tomato. Next.
So let's talk about chicks.
Do it again. I was scratching my eyebrow.
Let's talk about baby chicks. Chicks. A lot of people are nervous to get baby chicks. I get so many messages from people saying, do you have laying hens for sale? I'm like, no, I don't. I think people want to skip ahead of the baby chick stage, even though they're cute. They just want to get hens that lay eggs. Because chickens don't actually start laying eggs till they're like 6 or 7 months old. So, hi Nova. But look how cute they are. So chicks do require a lot of care. They need to have a safe and warm place, fresh food and water, and that's about it.
Well, and you've been raising them in our kitchen too.
Yes.
So they don't have to be outside anywhere.
No. So the first time we had chicks on the farm was when our own hens went broody, and we decided to stick some eggs underneath them to see what happens. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, we had a whole bunch of tiny chicks, and our hens raised them, and they are now all part of our flock. This year, we wanted more chicks, and I wanted to start selling some chicks. So we ended up getting our own incubator. And so I collected eggs from our own chickens, as well as we got a few eggs from a friend, and we decided to hatch our own chicks. I was a little nervous because I'd never done it before, and it's a bit tricky in an incubator because you have to have it at the perfect temperature and perfect humidity, and you know, some of the chicks don't always survive, but we had a great hatch. We had almost all of the chicks hatched that we put in there. And even this one, we called her Mira. Noelle named her Mira because she was our little miracle chick. I had to intervene and help her hatch a little bit. She was really struggling, but now she's a perfect and healthy little chick. Aren't you, Mira? Yeah. They grow really quick. They turn from little fluffs to the next week, starting to get feathers, and then before you know it, they're jumping all over the brooder, and they need to be moved out to have a bit more space.
They have an awkward teenager phase. They're kind of like ugly.
You're not ugly at all.
The first hatch we did, we raised them in the house for a couple weeks, and then when they were big enough, we moved them out into a raised area in the coop where they are separate from the other chickens and they have their own heating lamp. They are big enough now to come on out to the coop. So here they are. Look at this all silky. So they're all huddled together staying warm. And they were in there for probably a month until we moved them to our other coop because they're all getting really big. I think a lot of people don't want to put in the work with chicks. It's about 6 or 7 months before they start laying eggs, and I think one of the other big factors is people don't want roosters. So when you have them as chicks, it's 50-50 chance that you're going to get a rooster or a hen.
Okay.
That's a big problem in the chicken world, is people trying to get rid of roosters, and some people just let them go into the forest, and it's sad. Sometimes they just become dinner. So our plan with our roosters is we'll probably keep some of them, but then other ones will get processed, and a lot of times people are looking for roosters. So I've had success in the past posting online and seeing if anyone wants a rooster, because they're a great addition to the flock. Especially if you have free-ranging birds. They will alert the hens if there's a predator, help get everyone together, and also stop a lot of the fighting between the hens. She loves her mommy.
Unless she's a boy.
Chicks are the best.
This is our dog Nova. She is an Australian Shepherd and a Blue Merle. If you don't know her by an Australian Shepherd, you probably know her as an Aussie. Now, she hasn't gotten too much attention on the Little Farmette, so here's her own segment. She's been a part of our family for 5 whole months. And is one of the smartest breeds of dogs there is out there.
Come back down, Miles. Down.
Good girl. Oh,
Okay.
gosh.
We'll just.
Supposedly, she does a lot of smart tricks, and I can't wait to show you guys in the next episode. See ya! Nova! Nova, come for a treat!
Hi, I'm Autumn, and welcome back to another episode of Meet My Chickens. This is Polly. She's an Easter egg. She lays these beautiful blue eggs for us. She even has a Santa beard. My mom likes to put Santa hats on her on Christmas time. Chickens like to eat grass. She is one of our original 5 chickens, and I love her so much. You shoot, and you. Bye, guys.
Whenever you're ready.
Today we're gonna make one of my family's favorite soups, beef and noodle soup. We're gonna start with just a little splash of olive oil in the bottom. And we're gonna add 2 pounds of ground beef. I'm doubling this recipe because soup is amazing for sharing with friends and family, or if you make some for yourself and your kids, always make more soup than you think you're gonna need. You can also freeze it as well. So to the meat, we're gonna add 2 to 3 medium onions. And before I started cooking, I pre-chopped some carrots and celery because it's a lot nicer to have everything prepped and ready to go. That way you're not in the middle of cutting carrots and your beef starts to burn. All right, to our beef and onions, we're going to add some garlic. Now, I am a garlic fan and I like to add a lot of garlic. I'm adding 4 cloves of garlic to this recipe. So saute this together and allow the onions to cook down. Next, we're gonna add our carrots. You can use whatever kind of carrots you like. I had baby carrots on hand, so I just chopped those up. So we've got about 2 cups of carrots and maybe 2 to 4 stalks of celery. Next, we're gonna add 2 28-ounce cans of tomatoes. I like to use whole tomatoes. I feel like they just have better flavor. But my husband doesn't like big chunks. We know this. So I like to blend them up in a little food processor to kind of just cut the chunks up and he won't even know. So we're gonna add the tomato. Next, we're gonna add 2 boxes of beef stock. Next, add half a cup of red wine. Trust me on this one, even if you're not a wine drinker, it makes the recipe magical. So do it, trust me. Bring this to a boil, and if any foam develops on top, you can just scoop that off with a spoon. Once it comes to a boil, you can add your noodles. This recipe is also awesome with rice or lentils, but my kids love the little noodles. These little star guys are kind of adorbs. So we're gonna add a cup of noodles. The first time I had this recipe was when I was a teenager. My mom's really good friend from her church Kathy owned her own bakery, and she was a killer chef. And she made this for us one time when we were all over as kids, and we loved it. So my mom got the recipe, and we've been making it ever since. We're gonna throw in a couple bay leaves, 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley. Okay, once it comes to a full boil, we're gonna turn it down to a simmer. We're gonna add a little salt and pepper, roughly 4 teaspoons of sea salt or kosher salt, and a whole bunch of freshly ground pepper, about half a teaspoon. Cover and let simmer for 30 to 40 minutes. Sometimes life throws you a curveball. You can either let it hit you in the ribs, or you can knock it out of the park. James 1:2-4 says that when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. So let some faith grow. And while you're at it, why not grow some marigolds too?
You are the one I adore. You are the wings on which I soar. You are my joy. You bring light to my life. My everything in you I delight. I could fall in love with you. Oh, all over again. How can I tell you? How can I try? I can't even speak when I'm looking into your eyes.
For months, I've been trying to convince Todd to let us get some ducks on the farmette, but he kept saying no, and I just had this vision of 4 little ducklings running around the garden, eating all the slugs, but no matter what, I couldn't convince him. He always just kept telling me no. But little did I know he'd been planning on surprising me and letting me get ducks for Mother's Day. So on the morning of Mother's Day, the kids and Todd let me sleep in, and they made me a beautiful breakfast, and they gave me cards, and Todd's card was last, and in the card it said that I can get ducklings. So I was super happy, and of course I'd already made some contacts of people who had ducks, so I quickly called them up, and sure enough that day they were available for us to drive over and pick them up.
What you got, Mommy?
Are you guys ready to see the cutest thing you've ever seen? No, Todd, you're actually gonna die.
Oh my word. They're so different.
If you follow us on Instagram, you'll know that we did a contest to name our ducks. And the winner is MK on the Farm. And the names she chose for our ducks are Eenie, Meenie, Miney, and Mo. We all loved it. It's hilarious. So thank you, MK, for naming our ducks, and thank you to everyone who participated. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram, and check out our website, thelittlefarmette.com. See you next time. Go in the coop to get a box. No one has water. And I spill the water all over the chicks.
But we're gonna get ducks.
Ducks.